Gran Turismo games have always been famous for their expansive car lists. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the cars that have not been confirmed for the game, but cars that I would personally love to see in the game. Now keep in mind that these are all cars that I personally would love to see in the game. However, I would love to see people commenting their favorite cars and to see what kind of cars they would like in the game. And who knows, maybe I'll make a second video of this based off of how the community responds. So, starting off with cars from America. There are a couple of cars from Ford that I would really love to see in the game. Starting off with the 2020 Shelby GT500. This car is just a total beast. I mean, it's rewriting the GT500 rulebook by not offering a manual transmission and only having a dual clutch, but I don't think that's a huge deal, as this car has over 760 horsepower and is a monster. Next up is the 2016 Shelby GT350R, one of the greatest sounding American cars ever made. Would love to see that one in the game. Next up is the 2021 Mustang Mach-1. The Mustang Mach-1 hasn't been officially released to the public yet, but it looks to be a more handling focused replacement for the GT350. From Chevy, I think we all want the C8 Corvette to make an appearance in Gran Turismo 7. This car has been taking the world by storm, and I would love to see it in game. Speaking of Corvettes, I would like to see the Corvette C7 ZR1. This is a just ultra high performance Corvette, and it's mental, and I would love to see this one in Gran Turismo 7. Speaking of Chevy, I'd also like to see a Camaro SS 1LE. We already have the Camaro ZL1 1LE, but I'd like to see an SS 1LE as well. From Dodge, I'd like to see the Challenger Hellcat Red Eye as well as the Dodge Demon. These cars are absolute straight line weapons and would be amazing to see them in game. Still from Dodge, I'd also like to see the 2016 Viper ACR. This thing is an absolute track weapon. And I remember from old Gran Turismo games, the Vipers were monsters on track, and I'd really like to see this one in game. Switching the American script totally, let's switch over to Tesla. Now, a lot of people might hate Tesla, but I personally love Tesla. I've driven a few Model S performances and as well as Model 3 performances, and they are just rockets in a straight line. I would love to see the Model S performance as well as the Model 3 performance in the game. Model X and Y, I'm not a huge fan of, but definitely the Model S and Model 3 performance would definitely deserve a spot in Gran Turismo 7. Switching over to Japanese and Asian cars. Let's start off with the Korean cars. So, the Hyundai Veloster N is a car that is not in very many racing games at all. I know it's in Forza Horizon 4, but I'd love to see it in Gran Turismo 7 as well. Still from Hyundai, a different version of the Veloster N pretty much is the i30N. I don't get this car here in Canada, but I know that you guys get it in Europe, and I would love to see this car return for your Euro guys. Speaking of Hyundai, the Genesis G70, G80, and G90 are all excellent cars. Personally, I'd really like to see the G70 and the G90 in Gran Turismo 7, but if I had to pick one, I'd just pick the G70. Now, switching over to Japan, let's first start off with Honda. I would personally love to see a FK8 Civic Type R. Now, I have no idea why the Civic Type R is not in Gran Turismo Sport, so this is the 2017 and up Civic Type R. I don't know why it's not in Gran Turismo Sport, but it pretty much needs to be in Gran Turismo 7 at this point. Next up is a car I'm personally biased towards as I own one myself, but a 2013 to 2017 Honda Accord V6 Coupe. This is a car that, obviously I personally own, so I'm quite biased, but I would love to see this car in the game as it's kind of the final send-off for the Coupe and the V6 of the Accord, especially if you get one with a manual transmission. Speaking of manuals, I would love to get a 1999 as well as the 2020 Civic Si in the game. The 1999 Civic Si is super famous now, as well-preserved examples of these cars are skyrocketing in value right now. And the 2020 Si is kind of just the more modern version. It's not as high revving, but it still has that fun, friendly economy car feel. Switching to Toyota, I would love to see a left-hand drive version of the Toyota 86. As in Gran Turismo Sport, we only have right-hand drive versions. Speaking of left-hand drive, I'd also like to see a left-hand drive Toyota Supra. A left-hand drive 2020 Supra, to be specific. Speaking of Toyota, one of these oddball cars, I'd like to see the new Camry TRD in game. I think that would be a really fun car to mess around with, and I think it would be a great addition to Gran Turismo Sport. Switching over to Subaru, I don't know if this is possible yet, but if it is, I would love to see the all new 2022 BRZ in the game. Switching continents again and going over to Europe, so let's start with BMW. Personally, I'm a huge fan of the BMW M2 competition, and I would love to see that one in Gran Turismo Sport, but please don't bring the dual clutch version. Still from BMW, let's keep it going with the M8 competition. This car is a weapon in a straight line as well as in the corners, and I think it'd be a great addition to Gran Turismo 7. Speaking of straight line monsters, let's keep it going with the M5. The BMW M5 from the newest generation, so even the M5 competition as well, would be a great addition to Gran Turismo 7. Now, while possibly being one of the ugliest brand new cars you can buy, I think the G80, BMW M3 and M4 would be a good addition to Gran Turismo 7, as long as you just don't look at them. Switching over to Mercedes-Benz, I would like to see the new C63S as well as E63S wagon in the game. Continuing the theme of 63 AMGs, I think the G63 AMG would be a great addition as well. Now, going over to Audi, I would personally love to see the all-new RS6 Avant in game. This is just a dream car of mine, and I would love to see the RS6. Continuing with the RS models, I want to continue with the RS5 Coupe or Sportback, whichever one. They're both great cars, and I'd like to see that one in the game, as well as my personal favorite, the Audi RS3. I really want to experience that little 5-cylinder in Gran Turismo 7. Speaking of sporty little Audis, let's take it back in time to the Audi RS2 Avant. Now, this is a really, retro Audi, and this is a sweet little car, and I would love to see this one in Gran Turismo 7. Switching over to Volkswagen very quickly, I would like to see the Mark 8 Golf GTI as well as the Mark 8 Golf R in game. Now, I know the Mark 8 is already available in Europe, and I don't know about the Golf R. I don't know if it's possible yet to have the Golf R in a game, but at least the GTI would be excellent. Alright everyone, so that's it for this video. I want to say again a huge thank you for all of the support on these Gran Turismo 7 videos. They have been doing fantastic on the channel, and I'm super grateful for all the support that you guys have been showing on these videos. It's truly just incredible. So please leave your car suggestions in the comments below, and I'll be sure to respond, and then who knows, maybe I'll make a community suggestions video as well as another car list. Alright, so that's it for this video. Please leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. That would be amazing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.